Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Messi and Co. Post-game live stream after Inter Miami win convincingly-ish versus DC United. Huge away win. No Messi, no Suarez or Alba starting. A game of a lot of resilience and then, great opportunities, great finishing. Overall, really good results. I am here with Gian, and we're super excited to talk about it. So, Gian, what did you think? Initial thoughts.
I thought it was going to be very telling as far as what we were going to see in today's game without Messi. Inter Miami has struggled a lot without Messi, and I thought it was about time that this team prove that they can win without him, that this team isn't just one person. And that's something that I'm sure that Messi is going to agree with as well, and Tata agrees with, and that you can't always depend on Messi, especially knowing that whether it's because of injuries or whether it's because of resting in a very congested schedule or his games that he's going to miss with Argentina, whether it's for the Copa America or anything else, you knew that you were going to have instances where other guys on this team have to step up, and they stepped up today mightily. And I thought they did a great job today. I'm excited for this win. I think this is something that they can build on. They realized like this is going to help their confidence so much and say, hey, when we're missing our number one guy, we can still come through and get results. And I'm proud of this team and what I saw today. I'm really excited to talk about what we saw and again, just to show how much talent we have on this team. This team is insanely talented. We have such good players, and it's just exciting.
I totally agree. Yeah, I feel the same way. In the first 15 or so minutes, and I even tweeted this from the Messi and Co account that this team needs to be able to play without Messi and win. And we went a goal down early, and I was nervous, but I was thinking, oh no, are we going to just become a team that really can only do anything when Messi's on the pitch? But you know what? I was proven wrong. We went with a back four, and would you look at that? We had a back four and we won. It's amazing how that works. I see that comment from Northern Thai Garden guy as well, Luis Suarez, who we're going to get to in a minute. But I think it definitely should be said that in the first half, especially, we owe a lot of the success of this game to Leo Campana, who was doing his job and pushing so hard on every, over the top ball and just being aggressive, make the defense work. We saw in the, Christopher McVeigh got the early yellow card and was fouling consistently. And then Leo got a great goal, put us back in the game. Everyone really, I think, played their part, played really well. I think, there's definitely a couple people who would say that, a couple calls may have gone our way. I would argue that is soccer and that happens to everyone. We could have said last week how many calls didn't go our way that we lost against Montreal. I think that's just part of the game. Some days are better than others. But it was a great performance. And then, those two goals by Luis Suarez, I mean, that second goal, stop it. That was insane.
Yeah, no, that definitely was insane. I think it was a very even game. I know that you might see a 3-1 and say that Inter Miami dominated this game, but I think that it was a very even game, especially through the first half, the first 20 to 25 minutes. I think Inter Miami kind of struggled at the beginning. DC United was doing a good job of pressuring them. They had at times 5-6 guys pressuring on our side of the field as we were trying to transition from defense to offense. They were trying to make sure they were trying to pressure Redondo and Busquets into making mistakes. And at times they did have a few mistakes there. They were also targeting that right side. Well, Inter Miami's left side where Noah Allen is. They were playing a lot on that side with Herrera and with what's his face? I forgot the other player, but they were targeting that side. And I think at times
it was
goal
kind of scorer, right? The guy who scored the goal. I can't remember his name either right now.
The guy who scored the goal. But so I think that Noah Allen, Stroud, with Stroud and with Herrera, they were targeting that side, and I think it was a little bit difficult on Noah Allen on that side. He was kind of having some issues there just because of the fact that you had Taylor that kind of sacrificed a bit of defense on that side because he wanted to make sure that Taylor was really high up. As you noticed, Taylor was a big part, especially in that first half, of a lot of the attacks that Miami had. So again, that kind of put a little added pressure on Noah. Then on top of that, you have Gomez that was also playing very high up.
Mm-hmm.
We were making sure that I think that DC United did a good job of looking at those spaces and saying, "Hey, this is how we're going to attack Miami," and especially with Benteke, who was right on the line between the two center backs. He was causing a lot of issues there. And then we got scored on within those first 20 to 25 minutes. But after that, I think Miami did a really good job of closing up the spaces for DC United.
Yeah.
Didn't allow as much of, I think, pressure on Allen, and they did a good job in the midfield to contain that attack after those first 25 minutes. So I thought that was really good to see, seeing how they were able to kind of take that first early hit. We've seen other teams play Inter Miami and give Inter Miami possession of the ball, 60, 70% possession, wait and try to counterattack. That's something that DC United surprisingly didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
They were just a very much even game. I think it was like 54% to 46, something around those lines for most of the game. So that was interesting to see. They weren't afraid of us.
Right.
So,
yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it's also, it was like a tale of, missed chances or opportunities, and like whether you can keep building on them or not. Like, for example, Robert Taylor hitting the post towards the very end of the first half. I would say 9 times out of 10 that goes in, and then you're looking at us winning 2-1 at the half, and could have changed the game, but Inter Miami still came out in the second half aggressive and continued to build, and in the end benefited. And then on the other side, Benteke missed that header that you wouldn't expect him to miss, and then DC really couldn't keep building on that, and it just was about a war of attrition and who continued to have the energy and to build. I had a couple of players who I think just played like phenomenally. I think Sergio Busquets and his passing is just so, like, I mean, the pass that he had to Robert Taylor, like, stop that. That was insane. In the second half, that almost led to that goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and Julian Gressel, who also against his former club, just an absolute wizard with his passing. Redondo is everything that we are hoping he will be in more. Every game, he's exponentially improving. Gomez, etc. All these players that we needed to have an impact in games when you don't have Messi and Suarez and Alba starting, players that need to, benefit and to help this team continue to grow and to build into games and continue to improve. I was very happy with the performance. And again, like, please, God, keep the 4-3-3. Please.
Yeah, everybody knows I'm a 4-3-3 guy. But I think that it was surprising to me that after the many comments that Tata gave about him not feeling good about having a 4-3-3 because, again, missing that natural right back, and then Ian Frey being injured, and then obviously not having Yedlin anymore, that he didn't feel comfortable going with that 4-3-3. So I'm just surprised. I don't know. I don't understand why. Like, I think what went on in his mind to say, okay, at this point, I'm going to try it and I'm going to go ahead and put Ruiz in it. That's interesting.
I think because he knew DC was going to be really attacking forward. Like, they weren't going to counter and do slow builds. And so he wanted it to be, I think, more even in the midfield. I think that's what I imagine, because they're just so fast paced.
Yeah, that could very much be it. But it's also interesting, I think, that if you're going to go with that back four, why did he go with Ruiz over Gressel as well? I think that would be interesting to see. I'm not saying that I'm not saying it was wrong, but it was interesting because, again, Gressel has more experience at that right back position than David Ruiz is. I guess in this case, he kind of,
he wanted the playmaking, probably.
He bypassed that, and he wanted Gressel's playmaking up top. So those were just interesting moves. I think David Ruiz did a pretty good job. Yeah, I think he did a pretty good job there at that right back position, a position that he doesn't play often. So very good job on him.
Agreed.
And then as far as the midfielder is concerned, so one of the things that we spoke about in that pregame show that we did is how DC United is a team that likes to shoot a lot from distance. They did that against Portland. They did that against Cincinnati. From when we talk about shooting from distance, we're talking about like literally anywhere, like from outside the box on the right wing, from almost like 30 something yards outside the box. Like, it's just crazy how many shots you would get off. And I think it's interesting to see that in this game, we pointed that it would be important for Inter Miami to close those spaces as DC United is building and having the ball kind of on our side of the field to make sure that they don't get those shots off. And I think they did a really good job there. Busquets and Redondo did a great job. And I think for me, it's really commendable on Redondo. Like, not only does he do amazing on defense, but the way that he's able to transition into the offense and also be a huge part on the attack is incredible, because his playmaking ability is like one of the top, in my opinion, in this league for his position. Like,
Yeah.
he's such an important part to this team. And I mean, and especially with Messi not being around, who's one of our primary playmakers, that's a luxury to have Redondo on our team.
Agreed. I totally agree. I think the midfield 1000% showed up, and it was just great. It was great tactics. It was great. They grew into the game. Everyone really played their part, played their heart out. One downside, obviously, is that Freire had to come off in the middle of the first half with, I guess, the nagging muscle injury he had before. Hopefully, he has a speedy recovery and gets back quick. That's definitely a downside, but it's been. Let's keep this comment. It's been 11 minutes, and I think it's just we need to talk about Luis Suarez and how we even said preseason, we're like, we just saw what he did in Brazil. He's just going to start a little slow, but he's going to score. You were even saying maybe he's going to break the MLS scoring record. Like, he's going to do all these things. We said that. And then after the first 2 games, we're like, maybe he does it. Maybe he's just not it. Maybe something happened. Like, he's not going to do it. Look, where are we right now? He is unstoppable. I mean, just the class personified in every, within that 18-yard box. If there's just no bets when he has the ball, he just finds himself in perfect opportunities, creating chance after chance, quality after quality, a scoring machine. And he's not even starting every game, and he's still bagging a brace after only being on the field for 25 minutes. It's just everything we wanted and more so far with Suarez, and it just makes me very happy.
All right, he got substituted, and within the first 10 minutes, I think he scored. I think maybe less than 10 minutes. That was just incredible. And he's not doing his impact on the team. It's insane because it's multifaceted. It's not just him scoring, because that's what you brought him in for. I mean, you saw him and what he did in Brazil. You're like, and we had that conversation in the first 2 games where, we were saying, okay, he's not scoring, but just give him time. But he's come out. Not only is he scoring now, he's assisting. Not only is he scoring and assisting, but he's leading. And I think that is huge, I think, for Inter Miami, when you have Busquets, but you're missing your other 3 leaders on that team with Alba, Messi, and Suarez, and then Alba and Suarez both sub in. That's huge. You literally have 2 more coaches on the field. And Suarez, you can see from the moment he walked in, I think he got an opportunity on that first play, and he was already like very adamant about the pass and throwing his arms, and like just
he's a perfectionist.
He's so expressive. He's so expressive. So just to get that energy right off of the bench in Suarez, and again, his goal scoring ability is just really good for this team from I think from a confidence side as well, not just from a results oriented. So most definitely, I mean, Suarez, again, just a beast of a player. And as we said, I mean, he can break the MLS scoring record. Let's see the way he's going. And to your point, he's not even playing 90 minutes every game. Like, that's just,
I know. And it's just the beginning of the season. I mean, Fabian Renkel, who is a great follow on Twitter, by the way, for MLS News, I would recommend following him. Has tweeted today, and I totally agree. Right now, Luis Suarez is the MVP for the MLS season, like by far. And again, I don't think we're even close to seeing his full power and his full, playing the 90 minutes. And so, if we can make it to the end of the season, win, get trophies, this, that, and the other, and we say that our most dominant player of the season was not Lionel Messi, then shoot, like, that's pretty amazing to even think about. It was really incredible. Great comment. High press, fast paced team was great training for the next CCC game. Yeah, I mean, look, we're gonna be playing Monterrey in the Champions Cup, and it's going in about 2 weeks from now, and it's going to be incredibly difficult. Agreed that this was great practice for it, and that we have a long way to go. Homeless Campana and greasy hair Campana looks good no matter what to me. I'll just say that.
I did have a feeling you were going to say that. I think overall great game for Inter Miami as they prepare for what's going to be a really difficult game, I think, moving forward, as they have to go play in Mexico for the next leg of the Conca Champions, the quarterfinals. First they'll play in Miami, then they'll play in Mexico. But this game was just a great game to build confidence as we move forward. And
a great environment. There
yeah,
was a packed field, great environment, great, everything that you want. And obviously, I'm sure a lot of them were there for Messi. But regardless, like those kind of environments and atmospheres is, what we want to see for every game, home or away.
Yeah, correct. I wanted to see and take a look at what's our record now. How many? I believe we have 10 points. Let's see. Let's see how many points we got now. I believe it's 10.
I think we're 3-1-1.
Yeah, I think 3-1-1. I'm on the standings right here. We have 5 matches played. We have 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, and we've got a huge goal differential for us, which is big for us. We have 8 goal differential. So we had 13 goals. We've scored 13, and we have 5 goals against us in my match. So we actually have the most goal differential in all these Eastern Conference right now. And in the Western Conference, it's 4 goals for Portland. So yeah, that's interesting to see. I think that we never doubted the attack right from the very beginning, especially when you have Suarez, Messi, Taylor, Campana out front, and then the midfield is again. I keep saying this. It's one of the best midfields in MLS, and you're talking about you're still missing players. You're missing Kremaski, who's going to come back from injury. You might have a player coming in Matias Rojas. That's still a possibility. Who's an amazing midfielder. So this midfield is going to continue to get better, and also better in the sense of
signed our new right back.
Yeah, we signed our new right back. So as we continue to need rotations through all these different competitions that we're going to be in, this team, the idea is that this team is able to rotate and not miss a beat. That's where we want to be at. And I think today was the first time where we really saw and gained confidence in that being a reality. Again, with additional players also coming in. I still think as we look at this game, our defense is still iffy at times, and that's something that we need to make sure we continue to get better at. On the set piece, they were a little better than they were last game. I noticed that, so that was good. But in this case, now we don't know what's going on with Freire. Kudos to Christoph. He came in, did his job. Yeah. I think he did his job very well.
Agreed.
But at this point, okay, we only got scored on once, but you're still seeing some glaring holes in the defense that need to be addressed. I think that when what teams are trying to do or what the teams are trying to do is make sure that they put pressure on our center backs, because I think that sometimes our center backs can be very shaky, especially when you put somebody like Benteke in between the 2 center backs, and they're just going to continue to try to target and put through balls or try to put balls in behind the center backs, and that's kind of shown to be successful for a lot of teams. And Benteke and others had opportunities there. They just didn't score. Like this could have turned ugly within those few opportunities that DC United had, when again they just targeted the center backs, the ball got through, and Benteke and others they had perfect opportunities, but they were kicking the ball right to Calendar and made it easy on Calendar on a few of those. So this could have gone ugly.
That's soccer. It's about, who makes their opportunities and who misses them. That's, it happens to us too. It happens to everyone. And so I'm happy we capitalized on it.
No, I understand that 100%. It's soccer, but I think it shows that the defense needs to be improved.
Yeah.
I think that regardless, because the point you as a defense and as a team, you don't want to bank on the other team missing their shots. Like, okay, that's fine. Like we're letting these guys through and have 1v1s versus Calendar, and let's just bank on the brilliance of Calendar every time. You can't do that as a team, because it's not always going to happen. So I think that you need to focus on that and say we need to limit those opportunities. But I mean, regardless, even with some of the defensive issues we've had, we've only allowed 5 goals so far. And
agreed.
So I think that's still pretty good. But at the same time, what is an issue, I think, is that we're letting our offense kind of hide some of the defensive issues that we have. And we can't necessarily do that. We can't just say, hey, the offense is going to bail us out every time in these games. So
Yeah, no, and it's true, but like, we talked about this a lot before the season and during the season that,
yeah,
with the greatness that we have in some players, like there are going to be other areas of the pitch that aren't as good. I mean, it's a balance. Like it can't be 11 of the best of that position as much as we wanted to. And so I think it's just about like mitigating the risks and the issues and banking on the defense to be, good enough in those situations and having a great goalkeeper in Drake Callender. I think there's definitely a lot of room for improvement with the players we have on defense, like no doubt about it. But, when you have Luis Suarez, Busquets, Messi, Robert Taylor, Campana, Gomez, that you have such a stacked half of the field that you can't necessarily have like the four prime defenders playing at the same time as much as we wish we could. But I still think there's a lot to be that we'll see from this team. And I see this comment by Ace Lionel. I think that the 4-3-3 clearly showed today is the best for, I think, like making up for maybe some of the deficiencies we have on the defensive side of the ball and just having a much more flowing game where the midfield is able to close those gaps more and give us better chances to keep control of the game and to make our shots. But yeah, I mean, Luis Suarez, I really can't get over that second goal. That was left foot chip over the goalkeeper, top corner. I mean, what are you, nuts?
yeah, but tell me you didn't think for a second the play was over, because he
Yeah,
kind of
no, I did.
he kind of overcomplicated it a bit at the. I thought that he was
Which
going
is
to kick
why
it
it's
right
such an
away.
insane goal because there's no
Yeah,
chance, there's no way that should have been goal. There's no way. Like
exactly.
they totally missed the play, but and it was like he was on
The
his
IQ
leaning
the IQ was
backwards,
crazy.
like it was insane. Like and I the goalkeeper did everything he could to try and keep it out, but just the spin of the ball, the placement, everything, it was just like, I mean, honestly, I even think Suarez like doesn't, only makes that like 2 or 3 times out of 10. It's that insane of a goal.
Yeah, it was nuts. The fact that he was that IQ that he has, and the way he
Yeah.
it was a like a beautiful lob over the goalie. It was
With
just insane.
power. It's
Incredible goal,
crazy.
incredible goal. I just want to address this here. Can you guys please explain to me what aggregate score is? I assume you're probably asking Anthony because of the Conca Champions Cup. It's basically what the score is after 2 games. So you just take the total sum of the goals after leg 1 and leg 2, and whoever scored the total amount of goals through both of those games is the one that goes through. If it's a tie, then in Conca Champions Cup, the tiebreaker is the team that that scored the most away goals. So
Yeah.
that's how it works. What's interesting though, like again, I'm not a fan of the backline of 5, but against Nashville it worked. So that I think that and something that Tata said that was also interesting, because I mean, he's gotten countless questions about that back line of 5. He said that he's not stubborn and he's not hard-headed. So if he thinks that the back line of 5 is not going to work, then he will change it. He said he has no issues, but in his eyes, the times that Inter Miami has struggled or gotten scored on when they've used 5, it hasn't been because of the strategy, because of the actual formation. It's been because of individual mistakes, that whether it was a back 4 or a back 5, that they would have gone scored on anyways. It wasn't because of the formation. So in his eyes, he still doesn't see that this team necessarily operates better in a 5 or a 4. It's more of individual mistakes that have led to us getting scored on or not doing well. So I just wanted to share that because I thought that was interesting as well for him to say. He basically said, if I saw there was an issue with the back line of 5, I would have changed it. I don't have any problems with admitting I'm wrong. So that at
Yeah,
least
I
getting
mean,
insight into what he thinks.
yeah, I think I mean, I don't disagree that, a lot of the goals that we've conceded, even on a back 5, have been, individual errors that cause it. But I also think that with the back 5, when the individual errors happen either with like a one-on-one with the center back or with the open spaces in the midfield, it's the formation leads to those huge gaps of space, which lets the other teams capitalize even more so on individual errors. Like, there were some individual errors today that our players had, but DC couldn't counter and couldn't make something happen to it because our midfield was so compact and our defense was compact, and against counterattacking teams I can understand how it makes sense to want to try and stick more so with the back five. But a lot of teams this in the MLS, and DC is a great example, are no longer being those counterattacking teams with the low block. Like, they want to attack and go forward. I mean, look at LA Galaxy. Like, they were attacking the whole game today. Even they were attacking, and they missed some chances. And when it's especially playing against a team that attacks, we have to be able to condense the midfield and push forward. And when we do a back five, we have a lot of trouble keeping control of the midfield. And so I think, and I agree, maybe it's a game by game basis. Like, when you're playing on a team that sits backs and counters, then it depends on who you're playing.
Yeah, I would say that with that 5-3-2, we had a sample size last season, I think, where we didn't necessarily like it, but we also didn't have the players that we had and the talent that we have this season.
Yeah.
And I think we've only played that 5-3-2 like 3 times, of which we lost 2 and we won 1
this season.
Yeah. I think we played it against Montreal. We played it against somebody else. I can't remember. And then we played against Nashville. And I think we lost, or I know that we won 1, which was against
Nashville. We did it
Nashville.
both against Nashville. And then in one game we tied,
so
but we probably should have lost.
So if you think about it, I mean, you basically lost against Montreal, but that was necessarily not because of the 5-3-2. It's more a few individual things that happened there. Then you got a 2-2 result in Nashville, which is a great result because we're getting 1 point away from home in a CONCACAF Champions Cup, and then you win in a CONCACAF Champions game with convincingly with a 5-3-2. So kind of to speak to that, like, it hasn't been that bad this season, I will say. The 5-3-2.
Yeah, but the games for Orlando, Real Salt Lake, and DC, when we did the back four, we won all 3.
Yeah, but you tied away from home in CONCACAF Champions, and then you won in CONCACAF Champions against Nashville, and then you just had a bad game against Montreal. So I think both work. Again,
wow, you really changed your tune.
No, I did.
I did. To right now.
No, I did. I'm not going to advocate for the 5-3-2. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm accepting of it a bit more because of the personnel that is being implemented in it this season is better than it was last season, and we've had some good results. So I will say I'm not going to see a 5-3-2 like I did last season and say, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. Like, now I see a 5-3-2, and while I'm not the biggest fan, I can understand it and say, it's still okay. We can still get a good result. We can win this game. So I just want to.
No, I don't disagree. Like, you're right. Like, for example, the game Wednesday against Nashville, it worked perfectly, flawlessly, and we won. And who knows what would have happened if we did something different and they were able to exploit the back four in the spaces. Totally. I mean, it has its moment.
Was that a handball by Aviles? What do you think?
So my honest opinion is no. I think he was falling back. He tackled. He had his hands behind his back. The only reason his left arm came down in the end was to brace his fall. It was not intentional. He wasn't making his body bigger, and he got the ball first with his feet.
Yeah, technically it touched, but it's incidental contact is what it is. It's
incidental contact. He wasn't using it to make his body bigger. He wasn't doing it to, you know what I mean? Like, he was bracing his fall. So in my opinion, like, if it was the other way around, I don't think they would have, like, if the DC player did it, I wouldn't have been like, oh, that's handball rigged. Like, I think that it was incidental contact, and it was him just bracing his fall, and it wasn't to make himself bigger.
Yeah, 100%
so I think that's the rules. Taylor Twelveman, though, he's really like, I don't know if you were listening to his commentary, but he just like.
Did he? Because I listened to the games in Spanish, so I don't know. Did he say it was a handball?
He's like, that's an obvious handball and penalty. And then at the end of the game, I can't remember. I think Andreas maybe is whose partner. I'm not sure, but anyway, his partner said to him, did this kind of game teach you anything more about Inter Miami and the resilience and being able to play without Messi? And he goes, no. He's like, it didn't teach me anything. And I'm like, dude, what are you saying? Like, a bit of an intense I thought he was, I don't want to say he was biased in his commentary, but I just felt like he was, not really flowing maybe with the game or the perception of it. And I felt very like harsh in his stances both ways.
Has he been like that throughout? Has Taylor been like that throughout like the season? Has his commentary kind of been sometimes like anti?
Anti-Inter Miami a little
Yeah,
bit.
a little bit.
A little bit. I
Hmm.
mean, well, he has to cover every single Inter Miami game, so maybe he's sick of it. Maybe he wants to cover other games because they're the A. I guess they're like the A team.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
only think of it like the equivalent in NFL is like Tony Romo always covers like the big games in CBS.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like it's like the same thing. They want to put their quote unquote best broadcasting.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I couldn't believe it. He's like, no, I haven't learned anything. And I was like, really? Because I've learned a lot this game. I was really pleasantly surprised with how they came back and were able to make the formation work and were able to, do better, even without Messi.
Yeah, I think that you should realize like this is an eye-opening game for those who have, because
Yeah.
we've heard so many doubts from different media outlets and from different reporting that this team is just Messi. And if Messi's not here, they can't win. And I can understand where that comes from because you look back to last season. Actually, I have this right here. I can actually share this record. It obviously doesn't take into account this game, but there was this interesting statistic that said when Messi starts, Inter Miami is 9-1-6. So 9 wins, 1 loss. No,
Yeah.
1 draw and 6 losses. When Messi's no, wait, 6-9-1-6. Yeah, sorry, they're 9-1-6, 9 wins, 1 loss and
Draw.
6 draws. Yeah, and then when Messi doesn't start, they're 3-5-3.
Yeah.
So there's history there to say yes.
Huge.
They have struggled very much when Messi isn't on the pitch, but now you see this game, and they're proving to you that with the new players that they have, with the confidence that they've built, with a proper full preseason with these new players.
Yeah.
And when we say preseason, we're not specifically talking about that horrible
Just time. Yeah.
yeah, we're just talking about time. They look a lot better, and they won convincingly today. Convincingly in the sense that they earned it. They earned today's win without Messi. And for you to not say you didn't learn anything or it's not like a big deal, that to me is, I don't know. It's kind of like a little bit of bias, right? You just don't want to
Yeah.
admit it. It's
No,
weird.
100%. And I mean, like, I will say this though. I'm very happy with the performance and I'm very happy that we won. And I think, the tactics and everything worked out in the end. I will say though, I really don't think that we have to, like, when we have to rest all of them at the same time. Like, I really still would have liked if either Alba or Suarez started. Like, I mean, in hindsight, it's 2020. It's like, oh well, Suarez, if Suarez came in and scored and it worked out great, but like, what if DC scored another one of those early opportunities, in those first 20 minutes? Like, what if we found ourselves in a 2 or 3 goal, deficit? I think that you're obviously not playing Messi, and let's say you don't want to play Suarez, you want to play Campana. Like, I still would have liked to see Alba then and Busquets, like 2 of the 4. I don't know. I just felt like it seems that we're playing in extremes, and I know we have the rotations and everything like that, and it worked out today. And I'm sure, I hope it continues to work out and players feel confident. But I was just thinking to myself in the first 20 minutes, like, do you have to rest 3 of the 4? Like, can we have a little bit more balance from minute 1? It's just my feelings. Like, it worked out today, but what if it didn't? I don't know,
Yeah, no, I can understand what you're saying. I think that we don't necessarily know what's going on behind the scenes, and we
Yeah.
don't know if maybe you have to realize that, or we rather have to realize that there are conversations that are had behind the scenes with these players, especially with guys that are older, like Busquets and obviously Alba and Messi and Suarez, where they're talking to them and they know that there are a lot of games coming up, and they say, "Are you guys? How much can you play these games? Are you guys? Can you play 2 halves? Can you play 45 minutes? Can you? What is it?" And Suarez is letting them know, "Hey, based on the way I feel, this is how much I feel like I can do." Like, they don't want to overexert these guys. We have to remember that this is a very long season. You're talking about the league. You're talking about CONCACAF Champions. You're talking about Leagues Cup. I mean, the amount of games, and we've realized this, they're not prioritizing the league. That's not something
To
that they're
start, at
doing.
least. I mean, because the league they have the most chances probably.
Yeah, well,
Obviously,
at the beginning, because they know that the season is long,
Yeah.
they're not prioritized, because even when they didn't do so well last season, when Messi came in the second half, they still had an opportunity to make the playoffs towards the end, but Messi unfortunately missed games, but they still had an opportunity. So I think that that's what they're banking on is let's make sure we get through the first half of the season, get these guys keep these guys healthy so that we can make, if we need to, we can make a playoff push towards the end, but we're going to focus on Leagues Cup. We're going to focus on CONCACAF Champions. But I also think at the same time, they feel confident enough on the field when you have Campana and Taylor who are playing really well, when you have this amazing midfield. I feel like they have enough confidence where they're like, okay, maybe you're not going to start, but we'll put you in so you can play 30, 40 minutes in the second half. That's going to help our team. That's also going to help keep you in shape so you're not missing 1-2 games and then having to come off, because as a football player, as a soccer player, you also want that consistency. You don't want to go off and not play for 2 games and then go into play in a CONCACAF Champions. Like you're asking to get injured. You're asking to not be at the top level. So that's what I feel like it was. Like, yeah, I'll agree with you. Like that kind of sucks. You don't want to be missing those guys. But at the end of the day, they have confidence that they're going to be able to still win, giving them limited minutes. And it ended up working this time. And then, we'll have to see what they do through the next few games. They play again in New York next Saturday against the Red Bulls. Then the following Saturday on the 30th, they play at home in New York City. And then back to CONCACAF Champions 3 days later against Monterrey. So think about it. Like they've got a lot of games leading up to that game against Monterrey. They want to make sure that these guys are healthy and ready to play in the Champions Cup. So I feel like that's what happened today. And like you said, hindsight is 2020. Like, okay, we ended up winning, but I can understand that feeling at the beginning, like, oh damn, like this is gonna be, how are we gonna be able to pull this off?
Yeah. But no, it's true. I'm 100%. And I hope I keep being proven wrong. And, hopefully games like this, when we were able to, conquer and win and keep improving throughout the game, gives the players confidence, the rotation confidence and everything like that. That's, only positives. I think the commentators are surprised. Honestly, it's true because he still walks around like his leg is broken. Like he walks around like he only has one leg. Like it's insane. And yet, whenever it gets to that final third, and he just is like a wizard and is 25 years old again. It's crazy. But yeah, when I just see him walking on the field, I'm like, girl, are you okay? Like it does not look good. And so, but apparently the commentators were like, he says that he's been limping since 2016, like in order to compensate for his knee and to, preserve himself. I don't know if that's true, but if it keeps working, then God bless.
Gomez is going to miss the next game. He's going to play. I think, he's going to play for is it Paraguay? Is it for the U23 or is it the actual Paraguay for a feature date? But yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of guys on this team that are going to be missing time for their national teams. I mean, just off the top of my head, Campana is playing excellent. Let's see if he gets called to Ecuador at some point. Obviously, Suarez. Who knows? He's playing.
But were they called for this one that's happening in 2 weeks? No, right?
I think Gomez was. I believe I read that.
No,
Gomez
I know, but Campana and Suarez weren't.
Campana and Suarez were not for this one. But I think that we have plenty of guys that are going to be missing.
Robert Taylor, I know.
Robert Taylor. You're talking about Redondo. You're talking about Gomez. We got a lot of young players that are very promising, and while that is a blessing, it's also sometimes a curse because we're gonna be missing them.
But like we said, it's good for the league. We want this to be a problem so that in 2, 3, whenever seasons, we start more so matching up with the international breaks and just showing the quality of the league.
Hey, that would be fire, actually. Yeah, they see me rolling. Hey, and that's funny.
That's funny. No, I can say that and Calendar going to Team USA. Yeah, it's true. But we'll have to see how it. I would say though, we're playing New York Red Bulls and Emil Forsberg. I imagine it going to Sweden, and Lewis Morgan is probably going to Scotland, right? So if anything, that would be an advantage to us because they're going to be losing their best players too. But yeah, so, while we're starting to wind this down a little bit, let's talk about who our maybe player of the game was, because there's a lot of really good options. A lot of players really stepped up, played super consistent, made a lot of playmaking opportunities throughout that 90 minutes. I'm curious to see who you would give it to.
Well, I have to say three guys. I'm sorry, because these three guys to me were
It's
really good.
player, most valuable player.
But I can't. It's
No, okay,
tough.
that's
It's
fine. Okay,
tough.
you
It's
can do
tough.
two. You can do two, no three.
Two. All right, I'll go two. I'm going to go. Man, it's just this one is so obvious, and I'm sure you're gonna say it too. But I'm gonna go number one, Redondo for me.
Yeah, like
Redondo is just his presence in that midfield, his leadership in the midfield, along with Busquets there, his ability to lock down that midfield defensively and also be able to play make and be able to make the right decisions. That ball that he placed into Campana for that assist to Suarez was just beautiful. He's
Mhm.
to me, he's player of the game. Along with damn. All right, so it's gonna be Suarez because obviously he comes
That's
in and just
Suarez, yeah.
he scores those two goals. He puts the team on his back and it has to be Suarez and then Campana. So just it's gonna be
We're
Redondo.
revoking your Ecuadorian citizenship because you didn't choose him first.
But yeah, so those are going to be the guys for me. Just incredible to have the amount of talent that we have on this team, and it was just really exciting to see those two goals and to see how Redondo plays. And is it just me or does Redondo look like he's tippy toeing everywhere he goes, like the way he plays? Have you noticed
He
that?
tippy toeing. Well, he moves so gracefully. Like
Yeah, it's
he
like a
moves.
gazelle. Like it's
Yeah,
weird.
which is great. No, I
Yeah,
agree. He's very light on his feet. Um, I mine is Suarez for sure, but to say someone who we didn't say, I would say it's going to be Julian Gressel because Julian Gressel
that's interesting.
he did so much good playmaking, like just the switches and the play and a couple opportunities he missed in the first half, but I just thought that just that he's been an amazing offseason pickup. And, like we said in the beginning, we were a little iffy, like it took him a little time to get the rust off and find his place within the team. He's had to move around a lot and play a lot of different positions already. And he's just been like sensational, I think. And today was an example where he did incredible switching of play. He did great crosses, great corner kicks, created so many good chances, created great chances for Campana, was just everywhere he needed to be. And I just think with a lot of like confidence, and I'm not worried about him, like when he's on the field and when the ball comes to him, whether it's a dead ball opportunity or just on the wing or from a good pass, I feel good about what he's going to do, and I think that deserves credit. You know what I mean? Like even if he's not the one who gets that final assist or the final goal or whatever, he's setting up so many chances throughout the game. So many chances.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting when Chelo Wenga from Boca arrives and he's ready to play at that right back position. It's interesting to see or wonder what's going to happen with Gressel. I'm really curious what's going to happen with him because right now I think that it's Redondo, Busquets, and Gomez in the midfield. I think there's unless it's for rotational purposes, I don't think there's any. I think that's your top three in midfield, unless.
No, I
unless
think they'll put Gomez on, I think they'll put Gomez on the left, top
you think
left.
so, like instead of Taylor.
Yeah.
So you think it'll be Gomez, Suarez, and Messi, and then
Yeah.
it'll be Gressel. I can see that because
And
Tata's
maybe
done
there'll
that
be
before.
rotations. Like maybe there'll be rotations, like you said. I mean, Gomez is going to have some international breaks, and he's already had a couple muscle injuries, so he
Yeah,
may not play every single game. And so, but I think Gressel, um, will, and
yeah.
I think that I think that Gressel, it'd be hard to take him out of the starting lineup. I
It's
really
definitely
think it will
difficult.
be.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult, but it's also a difficult decision when you've got like. I think it's difficult also to take Taylor out because if you keep Gressel in and you move Gomez to the left wing, Gomez has played there before. Tata has used him at the left wing. I think it's also tough to take out Taylor. So a lot
Yeah,
of
but
hard
I think Taylor's
decisions.
great in the second halves. Like he's, him and Campana coming into the second halves. Like look against, Nashville. I mean, I think, like I said, Robert Taylor hasn't done very much to not have a starting spot. But when we're getting to the point where we have so much quality and so much rotation, I think that being able to bring Robert Taylor in the 60th minute is incredibly valuable. Same thing with Campana. And yeah, I think Gomez probably gets a nod ahead of him, and I think Gressel is just too important right now to not play because he creates so many chances. Like
Yeah,
Robert Taylor doesn't create as many chances for other players. Like his goal is to, score. And when he doesn't score, it diminishes his impact in the game. I think Gressel, both offensively and defensively, and Gomez too, offer a lot more than just scoring. And, when you have Suarez and you have Messi, you don't really need everyone else to be an amazing scorer. You need them to create the plays and the opportunities. I'm just
I think
thinking like
that's a
balance-wise,
valid
you know what I
point.
mean?
Yeah, that's a valid point. That's a valid point. But I think either way, I think the decision for Tata is going to be tough when it comes to I need my best 11 on the field for this specific game.
The
How am I
best
going to?
11, I
Yeah,
think, is Gomez is up top and Gressel in the midfield. I don't think Robert Taylor's in the best 11, which
I
is
could see that.
crazy to say. It's hard to say that,
It
but
is.
like,
It is. Yeah.
but tactically, like, I don't think he's in the best 11. I think he's the 12th, like, in all honesty. And but
Okay.
if you said to me like, it's gonna be Gomez or Taylor, I'd be like, okay, I feel pretty good about either. If it's Gomez or Gressel in the midfield, okay, I feel good about either. I just think that at the moment, Gressel and Gomez have earned their spot to just like play a lot of roles on the team.
Well, I think we'll find out very soon what the
But against
decision.
Monterrey, we'll probably find out. Yeah.
That's what we'll find out. Who is the best 11 in Tata's eyes? That'll be very telling. But I think that one thing we've learned is when Suarez and Messi aren't around, that we can kind of feel good that Campana and Taylor are there. I think it is something that we've kind of realized now. Like we're not going to miss a beat in the sense of we'll still have an attacking presence with Taylor and Campana, and they'll do a good job. So I
And the
think that's
4-4-2, we saw the 4-4-2
finally,
and I
finally.
loved it. I thought for a good 20 minutes, and I can see next Saturday, when we play, like, because Campana and Suarez are obviously both there. I mean, you may not start with it because you want to be able to have one of them at least on for the whole 90 minutes, or like replacing each other. But with no Robert Taylor, no Redondo, no Gomez, like we may see a 4-4-2.
Yeah, we could see a 4-4-2, and we saw that it worked. I really loved the pairing of those two. I don't know how often we'll see it, but it was really cool to see, and it was something that we were wondering about. It was a question that was actually asked by Xavi, the reporter for Lemon City, over at one of these last games. He asked Campana. He asked him, "Are you ever going to play with Suarez?" He said he would like to, but it was up to the coach. And it was nice we finally saw it. So that's exciting to see. And look, so, Campana got his goal. Suarez got 2 goals. Campana got an assist to Suarez, which is sick to see. So that was really exciting. I really enjoyed that pairing of both, and it shows that it works, which is good to see because we didn't know if it was going to work, and now we know that's an additional option that has now. Depending on when he needs to use it, he can use it, and it's been proven successful. So I really like that.
And Borgelin's been getting some minutes. Like I imagine Saturday
he might have scored today if he didn't get that fouled on. He was going to be,
and I mean he's going to get minutes Saturday because we're obviously going to be lacking on the offensive weapons because of the international break. So yeah, but overall it was a great performance. We got a great win. It was really important for the team to be able to win without starting, and playing 3 of the 4 of, from the big 4. And hopefully this team can continue to, be able to thrive without Messi and, not rely on him and be able to just build with our young talent, our hardworking players. Everyone's getting more confident in their, being able to contribute. Noah Allen had a much better game than he's had in, I think in the past couple of weeks. He did what he had to do. Christoph did what he had to do. Ruiz did what he had to do. And that's all you can ask for is just continuing to keep the momentum and to build to get these results. And look, we can come to June or July and be, top 3 or 4 in MLS. We could hopefully be, maybe winners of the CONCACAF Champions Cup or making it to the final of that, be in the Leagues Cup and all these things, and not have had to have Messi playing, 90 minutes full strength, Luis Suarez having to play 90 minutes full strength, and being able to continue to build on them. So
I think
all good.
touching on that point about the MLS, if we kind of just do a little quick standings watch and game watch today, again, just to remind you guys, we are in first place with 10 points.
Yep.
Second place is Columbus. Third place is it's Columbus and New York tied for second place, and you've got Toronto in fourth. So if you want to watch a good game today, you've got Columbus against the Red Bulls at 7:30. So they're actually the two that are right behind us. So that'll be interesting to watch. Between Columbus and New York, and then you've got New York City versus Toronto. So Toronto is currently in fourth. So those will be some games to watch and see how the standings pan out after today. But we have basically have possibly first place in lock right now. So I think just pray for a Columbus New York tie. That'll help us out very much.
Yeah,
that'll be good because they'll both
it's
end up
early
with
in the
8.
season. It's early in the season. We have so much time. But yeah, I mean, I think we're doing as well as we could have wanted to. Again, like I think that he right now, like I think Gomez and Gressel have put in a little bit more than he has, and they've been given no reason to be taken out of the starting 11. If you put the three of them though, I would say obviously Robert Taylor is the best finisher compared to Gomez and compared to Gressel, but it's a long season and there's going to be plenty of opportunities for Robert Taylor to be starting and keeping his place starting. There's going to be a lot of rotations needed. We'll just have to wait and see. And I hope everyone constantly makes Tata feel like they need to be in the starting 11. Like that's the best problem we can have, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I want to take this opportunity just to show you guys something real quick. If you want to continue to get our if you guys want to continue to get our alerts and get all of our content, again, Ashley and I are at all of the home games. We get there early. We get you guys pictures and video on the field, the supporters, all that stuff. Follow us at Messi and Co. You can find us on X. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. And then also make sure you guys do something that is free for you guys right now. All you have to do is go and hit the little thumbs up. Got to put that thumbs up on the video. And that's actually going to help us for the YouTube algorithms get this out to as many people as possible. More people get to join, more people get to interact and comment like you guys are. So we really appreciate you all. So just make sure you hit a thumbs up on that and follow us on Messi and Co. For more of that. So, but yeah, it was exciting, really exciting game. Nice to see us get the win, get a good result without Messi. Hopefully, it looks like for him, he's got an injury. We're not sure exactly how long he's going to be out. So hopefully it's not too long because we definitely need to make sure that he is good for that game against Monterrey that will be played first here at Chase Stadium.
It's going to be such an insane game. We're getting excited for it. But yeah, we'll be back midweek with another show. We'll see what the topics are going to be for that. We'll obviously have a preview before the Red Bulls game, post-game coverage, etc. Thank you guys again for listening and watching. I think Taylor works best with Messi. I think there's going to be so many combinations, and you know when Messi plays, I think it'll continuously adapt and change. We're in so many games, so many competitions. I hope everyone continues to earn their starting place and you know proves me wrong. Like you know I think Robert Taylor's fantastic. If he keeps you know scoring and creating chances, great. I hope he plays every game. But thank you so much for listening, for watching, for commenting, for letting us know what you think. We love the support. We love doing this. We will be back again soon. Make sure you're following us like Gian says. But for this episode of Messi and Co. post-game reaction, Inter Miami winning 3-1 away against DC United. I am Ashley. That is Gian. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.